Hey guys, good morning. Good morning to all my beautiful, talented, kind hearted, amazing people. I hope you're having a good day. So, today I want to talk about what I think is an important principle in that there needs to be things more important than money. Now, we've all heard money's the root of all evil, and um, this is, I don't know if it's the root of all evil, and it's also just a currency. It's a energy exchange at the expense, at the risk of sounding too woo woo, but it really is just a way. It's something that we need to exchange and have a means of production, if you will. So, but it is also the driving force behind so much evil, and much of the reason for that is because people often measure someone's worth by their status or their money. And, it's unfortunate, possibly a necessary evil, although way overblown. I think we should try to do less of it. But to some extent, it may just be one of those things. Um, and because of that, many people will go to any lengths to receive this money, to receive this fame, this status. And let me clarify, actually, because I kind of excused this behavior, but I think a real moral, righteous individual will see past that. Uh, I myself am not impressed I'm not trying to sound arrogant like I'm a more moral, righteous individual, but I can only gauge from my own perception and experience. And I'll say for myself, I am not impressed solely by status and money and all these things. I know a lot of people that are very wealthy that I don't think they have good morals, and I want nothing to do with them. I've even come across a few people. I'm a big health nut, and some people that are very, very famous in the health community and even in non-health community, and they were complete jerks. And I had no desire to keep their number. Um, didn't impress me. I did not like them. Anyway, money. Many people will go to any lengths for this, and I think a huge chunk, if not the majority of problems in the world, are because of this. Because people will put money and status before their morals. They'll excuse bad morals to get into the chase. And I actually had a conversation with my friend about this yesterday. New friend I just made, a cat sitter, and we just like hit it off. And she's really cool. We've had great conversations, and we were talking about this, and she said, I didn't make the game, so I'm not mad at people. And I think what she was saying was, I think it's okay if people do certain things for money because, they're just a part of the game and we can't change the game. And I pushed back on her a little bit with that and respectfully, and she seemed to agree. But what I said was that I don't think that's an excuse because the game is created by the people, right? So to change the game, if we all decide to change it, it gets changed. And also, it's not good for your karma. People will see how you behave. Like, it's all around crushing to people's hearts when they see others behaving any which way for money and status and putting their morals aside. And that's where Abrahamic religions, I think, have a lot of wisdom. I'm not religious myself, but I think there is so much good that was said by the in the Bible by Jesus, um, in the Torah and Quran, and I'm less familiar with both of those, even coming from a Jewish ethnic heritage and genetics. I don't know a whole lot about the Torah, but one thing that the Bible seems to drive home many, many times in Jesus is that the kingdom of heaven, and I personally, I don't know if I think it's heaven like we think of heaven, but I think there is some kind of heaven realm. I don't know what I think with that. I kind of claim like I don't know, but I think to have your soul in a safe place and to reach heaven or this heavenly realm or have a good afterlife, I don't really claim to know what it is, but you you need to be a good person, and I think this realm may be temporary. I don't know, but the road to the kingdom of heaven is narrow, and that means that you're not doing what everyone else around you is doing. You're not doing what the sheep are doing, right? And we're all, I guess, sheep to some extent, but you're not doing what everyone around you is doing just because that's the thing that everyone's doing. You question trends, you question patterns that people are engaged in, and if it doesn't feel good to your soul, you discard it, right? And so there can be a big sacrifice to discard this immoral chase for money and status at any expense. And I don't think it's bad in itself to try to get um, make a good living for yourself, to have the lifestyle that you want. And hopefully, I think that lifestyle is not one of vanity, but let's say you find travel will be a good purpose for you, uh, or you're like me, you want to be the kind of man to support your future wife, um, to be stay at home if she wants to raise the children, because I personally believe it's better for the children. And there's a whole thing to that. There's a whole thing that I'm not going to get into because that's there's a lot of nuance to that. So I'm not trying to make any kind of statement with that. But hopefully your money is supporting a wholesome lifestyle, right? And there's nothing wrong with aiming to get there. In fact, it's admirable in many ways. But you need to have principles behind it that guide it, that you will discard if if this way of getting money does not align with your principles. And I'll give an example that I think is a prime example today. And I think I might do a little bit of this as a new YouTuber. I've noticed sometimes my title will be a little maybe exaggerated or something that I know will get hits, but it has to be relevant. It has to be accurate. And I really don't want to be one of those YouTubers that I've seen that they'll put the most outlandish title that sometimes they know will stress the person out, make them anxious, make them insecure. I think that's really messed up. Um, you can really make people anxious on YouTube by clickbait or even certain photos, that predict doom or, I don't know. It's like, yeah, all kinds of bad things you can do. And I'm not going to do that just for likes. I'll give another example. I'm not on social media, aside from YouTube, which some consider social media, but I'm not on social media because I don't like the toxicity of it. And I have a small business and several people working for me, and that's been my main source of income, and several people's for been running it. I think coming up kind of close to 3.5 years. And I could get more business if I advertised on social media like Instagram, Facebook, Facebook Marketplace, whatever. I think that you can do that there. Um, but I refuse because I don't want to be on social media. I don't like what it does to my mind. And so I might be missing a good chunk of money from that, but it's just not worth it to me. And mind you, this I have found this good for myself, and I feel like this advice might be able to help other people. I don't claim that it's a run of the mill answer for everybody. Everyone's a little different, but I think I don't know. I know a lot of other people that are thinking the same way. I've heard other YouTubers speaking of it, especially Dry Creek Wrangler School. This great guy. If you haven't checked him out, but I've heard him say a lot of these things, and I think it helps a lot of people. So, and your soul will feel good. Your conscience will feel good. You'll be able to, rest at night better because of this. So I encourage you guys, you know, chase your hustle, try to make your dreams come true. But if to do that you have to sacrifice your morals, do something else. And with that sacrifice, sometimes this way, honestly, I don't think it's affected me very deeply in terms of like, if I really thought about it, I'd maybe have a better answer. But I don't think it's set me back from achieving most of the things I've wanted to achieve. In fact, I'm pretty willing to bet that it's helped me. And it's helped me with business because people trust me more. But go for your goals. But if something has to set you back a little bit, or let's say it's less of an ego boost because you don't have that job title of that unethical job, you don't have that, you're not accepting that money for that shady deal, or it takes a little longer to get to where you want to get, it's worth it because your soul is the most important thing. And it's going to attract good people to you. It's going to attract good energy, good things in your life to come. And this is another thing that the Bible says, or Jesus said, or both. The meek shall inherit the earth. And kind of how I take that is those with good morals, they may not inherit the earth right away. It may be the evil billionaires that have got a quick buck, but even with them, we've seen, even if it's been a while, their empires are crumbling because people don't want to support them. And they're not happy people. But the meek shall inherit the earth. Over time, those who do good and have good hearts, their abundance will come to them and tenfold. That's my opinion. So, and in the right ways. And it might not just come in the form of riches, but many times I think it does. So, anyway, guys, thanks for listening. As always, I love you, and I'll see you in the next one.